Okay, folks, the following clips are quite interesting, and some are quite telling. We tried to get this posted for you yesterday, but unfortunately we ran into technical issues that prevented, but we feel it needs to be shown after months of researching and following along on this tragic story. We also suggest you follow all the contributors here and have left their links in the description. Now, let's get started.
What we're just watching here is Charlie Kirk just, getting ready. The first guy's question, this is Henry Dell right here in the middle of the screen. You'll notice that and I want to point this out here. See the guy manning the microphone? Can we zoom in on him? Or is the screen not going to let us do that? We may not be able to do that. Let me see if I can bring it in and then zoom in on him. No, oh, there we go. See that guy right there in the red shirt manning the microphone? He was not a UVU student. He was not in the UVU TPUSA chapter. I think his name was Cooper something. He was manning the microphone. And I remember very early on, Candace made a deal about that. She said, well, this is weird. You have a non-student manning the microphone. And it turns out he worked, I think, for the Leadership Institute or something, it's one of these groups that trains people to go out and work in public interest groups, right-wing public interest groups. The Heritage Foundation, TPUSA, and others. He was the guy manning the microphone. And you'll see, if you watch this whole video, he is obsessive about making sure the people don't touch the microphone. I'll give you an example right here. Henry Dell looks like he's going to readjust the microphone. This guy steps in and says, don't touch the microphone. I got it. And then he moves the microphone. This is a recurring theme in this 10 minutes and 15 seconds because Charlie Kirk will be dead at the 10-minute and 15-second mark of this. But you'll see what's happening here. And I'll just flip around a little bit. Charlie Kirk holding his microphone. He's answering questions. This guy's Henry Dell here in the middle. He's the one pumping his fist, looking around at the crowd. He's asking the first set of questions. I think if I recall, his questions were about the Mormon faith and how it related to Christianity and Charlie's relationship with it. To give you an idea of some of the background characters, here on the far left, now out of screen, now back in screen, the guy in the short sleeve black shirt here standing up behind Charlie to Charlie's, 4 o'clock? That's Dan Flood. He's the guy that gives the arm signal. Over here on the other side of the screen, of course, texting in the white shirt and backpack, that's Mikey McCoy. That guy right there, let me pause that in case they move it again. See the guy looking down at his phone on the far right in the tan shirt? That's the chief of audio video or whatever he is. He's a contractor, but he is like the head guy for audio video from TPUSA. That's the guy, Terrell Farnsworth, who, he's dead, takes the video. I always wondered how Terrell Farnsworth was so confident Charlie Kirk had died. Because he saw almost as much as Mikey McCoy saw and Blake Neff. Saw something, boom, looked up and ran off. But then he immediately grabs a phone, starts taking selfies and saying that Charlie's dead. Tonight might give us a clue why Terrell Farnsworth knew so intimately the details. All right, let me get back to the meat because I don't want to be here all night. So you'll see what happens is Charlie asks, the audience asks a question. Henry Dell down here in the lower right, he'll ask a question. It flips back to Charlie. He picks up his microphone and he answers the question. And then watch what he does in between questions. So he answers the question. He talk. He puts the microphone down. So sometimes he puts the microphone down on the table and sometimes he holds the microphone with one or two hands in his lap. It's a key fact. We're going to come back to this. The key fact. And if I had the volume on right now, what you would notice is the microphone's on the table and there is no feedback. And that's a key fact as well. We'll learn here in just a little bit. You'll also notice, and you can barely see him off to the right. I pointed out who Terrell Farnsworth is. There's a guy down here on his knees. Let me see if I can find an image where he is more visible. See the guy in the white hat that says 1776 standing right next to Terrell Farnsworth? Can I zoom that in? Yeah. That guy right there in the 1776, the white hat with the dark brim. See that? He, the entire time, just about the entire time Charlie Kirk is talking, from the moment he went on stage until the second he passed away, just about, I'd say 95+% of the time, this guy is messing with the sound controls down to Charlie Kirk's left, right at his, 9 o'clock? He's down there messing with the sound controls. And this guy, Terrell Farnsworth, his boss, is hawking him, standing right over him, hawking him. I don't know the guy's name in the 1776 shirt. So let's fast forward a little bit, and let's just get an idea of how this pattern works. Charlie answers a question. Henry Dell asks a question. Charlie answers a question. And watch what he does with the microphone. Sometimes he puts it on the table. Sometimes he holds it. See how he's holding the microphone there? He didn't put it down. He drops it in between his lap. So if you were going to try to time this, what you would do is you would wait for Charlie Kirk to finish answering a question, and if you wanted to time it just as he dropped the microphone and before he put it on the table if he was going to, you would need some way to send out a timing mechanism that we've got about 1 second or less left. And it's going to be important. I promise you this is going to be important. I'm raising issues. I don't want anyone to think for a second I'm stating with definitive reality anything tonight. What I am doing is I've gotten a lot of emails on this issue. I looked into it and I thought, holy mackerel, that's pretty compelling. And so I want to raise the issue. I haven't seen really anyone else talking about it. So I want to raise the issue and I want to hear from you guys, and I'll go through and I'll read some comments. I want to hear from you guys what you think. But let me go through and play some stuff. So let me fast forward now that you kind of got a thing. Notice as I skip around and I skip forward. Okay, I'm back here at the 0 minute mark. I've got 1776 hat leaning over, messing with the controls, right? Let me just skip through. 39 second, leaning over, messing with the controls. Minute 24, nowhere to be found. 212, leaning over, messing with the controls. Well, there I can't see him. 309, leaning over, messing with the controls. These are the sound controls. Now he's standing up talking to his boss right next to the sound controls. Now he's leaning over, messing with the sound controls at 402. Leaning over, messing with the sound controls at 433. Leaning over, messing with the sound controls at 448. 543, what do you think he's doing? 610, leaning over, messing with the sound controls. 647, leaning over, messing with the sound controls. 720, leaning over, messing with the sound controls. 754, leaning over, messing with the sound controls. 813, leaning over, messing with the sound controls. 840, leaning over, messing with the sound controls. And now I'm going to bring in the audio. And if it's too loud or too soft, you guys tell me. I'm going to bring in the audio because I want you to hear what happens. This is very curious. Very, very curious. I'm going to bring in the audio, and I want you to hear what happens. If we have to replay it, we will. I'm going to bring it in at what I think is a reasonable volume that doesn't blow me out in my ears. You guys tell me if it's too loud or too quiet. We can talk about Dan texting in a second, but I want you to focus on the sound guy right now, and I want you to focus on what we hear as Henry Dell wraps up. Henry Dell's about to finish up here. I think at the 8 minute and 48 second mark he finishes.
Jewish scholar. Right, that's the point, is that if the audience I've done wants you to run, God bless you, I love doing this. Thank you so much.
All right, we got a 5x, so we're good here. Okay, he's put the microphone down on the table, and Dan Flood has come and said something into his ears here, right? So let me back that up. I'll turn the sound back off. But he finishes up his speech here. He runs Henry Dell off. Hey, the audience had enough of you. Dan comes in to talk to him, and the microphone goes down on the table. I don't know what Dan said.
Do you see where Barron is going with this? Now let's continue.
But they're talking back and forth to each other. But I want to back the sound up because I want you to hear what's happened. It's something new that happens here that has not happened in the previous 8 minutes and 50 seconds, that the sound man has been messing with the sound the entire time.
Hello. Hi. Yeah, this is working. Hey, Charlie. Hey, hopefully we're going to have a little bit more disagreement. All right. Hi, yeah, so just wanted to, a few weeks ago.
Did anyone hear what was happening? Yes, there was a feedback loop. I've been in radio a long time. I know what causes a feedback loop. And I know what can control a feedback loop, particularly when your sound man is sitting on the machine. Charlie's mic has no reason to be up high enough to be causing feedback right now. No reason whatsoever. The only reason you would need feedback, the only reason you would get feedback if there's a volume issue. If there's a volume issue, you would get feedback. Short of that, you wouldn't have feedback. And you've got a sound guy who for 8 minutes and 48 seconds was able to control the sound without feedback. Microphone in the lap, no feedback. Microphone on the table, no feedback. All of a sudden, Hunter Kozak walks up to the steps. Hunter Kozak gets to the microphone, and all of a sudden, we've got a real feedback problem. Interesting. And what we get when we start getting the feedback is, watch the sound guy, how he signals, the sound guy that's on his knees over here on the right, how he signals to Terrell Farnsworth to tell Charlie to pick up the microphone. Watch it again.
Hey, Charlie. Hey, hopefully we're going to have a little bit more disagreement.
Again, even the security guard steps in this time to tell Hunter Kozak not to touch the microphone. But watch what happens. So the sound guy has signaled to Terrell Farnsworth. Terrell Farnsworth is now going to come over to Charlie and say, Bud, you got to pick up the microphone.
Hi, yeah, so just wanted to, a few weeks ago, a few weeks ago there was a transgender mass shooter, and ever since then, about 3 weeks later, the Trump DOJ said that we should start talking about.
And you see over there on the right, now we're within 20 or 35 seconds of Charlie Kirk's death here. You see over there at the right, Terrell Farnsworth and the sound guy are having a real conversation. Leaning over, he even made some hand motion. I can back it up if you want to see it. I'll cut the volume so you don't have to hear it again. But he made some kind of hand motion here. He signals to him. They look. See that? He makes some kind of hand motion. Terrell Farnsworth stands back up, leans back down. I'll turn the sound back on for a second so you can kind of hear what we're talking about, because you'll recognize now this is where most of the clips pick up.
Revoking gun rights for transgender Americans. I think it's important decision. Yes, is that what you're saying? Right. So, do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years?
Now, from this point forward, I don't believe he puts the microphone down. Or maybe he puts it down one time and the next time he holds it up. But that was the transgender count. How many transgenders have been shooters over the last 5 years?
Too many.
It's 5. Okay, now 5 is a lot, right? I'm going to give you credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
So you guys know what comes next. You've seen this video 1,000 times. I don't have to show you again. But I want to hit mute. I want to back it up a little bit. Now that you know the timing, and now that you know it's important, I think, that he was holding the microphone, I want you to watch when Dan Flood gives the signal. Watch when Dan Flood gives the signal. Now that you know the timing is so important that he's holding the microphone and he keeps putting it down and picking it up, putting it down and picking it up. Or at least I'm making the suggestion, perhaps it was. So watch the timing of Dan Flood's signal. See that? He puts the signal out while he's holding the microphone. Why? And we're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss that in a second. I'm going to show you some evidence. I think it's to it. Now, I don't want to show the gore. And there's only about half a second of it, but I don't want to show it because my kids watch this program, right? And they haven't seen it. But yeah, so when he looks left, I think we've answered the question. I wondered, and we've talked about it on this program time and time and time again, who is Dan Flood looking at before he gives the signal? He looks down, or he looks right first at Frank Turek, frankly. That's who he's looking at. I'm not accusing anybody, so shut up. I'm raising the issue that this looks awfully suspicious. Someone just made a good point. Let's watch the 941 mark here. It's 935. It's rolling. It's rolling. It's rolling. It's rolling. What happens at the 941 mark? No, that's just him wiping his brow. He's not turned on his meta glasses. I don't think that was it. I think it was just him wiping his brow. But let's just say if you wanted to explore the possibility that this microphone was important, and it was important that he was holding the microphone, you would have to signal the timing so that Charlie was holding the microphone, because he kept putting it down. Okay, so let's just allow this to sort of play out through some images. You guys know what happens. I'm not going to delete that or take that off the thing, but I'll come back to it. But I want to now look at some images. To begin with, do you guys know where that microphone is today? Is anyone aware of where that microphone is? I'll show you. That microphone was most recently at Mar-a-Lago.
Now, do we know for sure this is the same mic? That's the question we have, as it would definitely have some clues if that's the case.
For those saying bruise, he just died, like instantly. You see how shiny that knuckle is right there? Have you ever burned your hand on the stove? Have you ever burned your hand on a pan when you reach in and grab something and you see a little shine on it? And you start to rub some butter on it or you put some water over it? So that's his left arm as he's being carried off. It kind of looks charred. That's his left arm. Now, his left arm, in that image that I showed you, and I can go back to the video, his left arm was what was holding the microphone. And I'm not going to show the point of impact, but he brings the microphone down and holds it then with both hands. It's at that moment when he grabs it with both hands, the shirt flies up and he gets tense. And I'm going to tell you what kind of led me down this path, and I'm going to show you a few more pictures. But that hand looks crispy. I'll be honest. The right hand looked like it had been tased or something, but the left hand looks just fried, in my humble opinion. Why was Charlie still holding on to the microphone when he was dead? Why was Charlie still holding on to the microphone when he was dead? I asked the question. Charlie's dead right now, and we're told. You'll notice if you zoom in on this picture, you'll notice his ring has left his ring finger and is now falling off of his hand. And he is still gripping the microphone. He is falling over, and he's got both hands clenched. I'll show you the other fist in just a second. Now, at first, we were told this was a cerebral reflex due to a spinal cord injury. Well, lo and behold, wouldn't you know, I made a comment about that on air, and I got reached out to by a neurosurgeon. I verified that he was, in fact, a neurosurgeon. The neurosurgeon said, no, that's not true. The neurosurgeon said that's not the reaction to a spinal cord injury. And then actually a nurse told me this today who I was talking to about these images. The nurse said the same thing. That's not a spinal cord injury that makes you do this. That's a brain injury, a deep brain injury, or an electrocution.
It's also said that cadaveric spasms are immediate and involuntary muscular contraction that occurs at the moment of death, often associated with extreme physical or emotional stress.
Put in the comments. There are your clenched fists. This was the clincher for me. An astute viewer of this program sent this image in, and I clipped it out. Look at that hand. I will, if you need me to, pull the hand back up. No blood has left his neck by this point. There's one drop that has gotten near his hand. One drop has gotten near his hand.
If this is true and that image hasn't been doctored, wow, just wow.
That hand is fried. You can watch the video, slow it down yourself if you don't believe me. I did not alter this photo. All I did was hit pause and take a screen cap. So a few questions remain. Well, I should show this one as well. I don't think I've shown this one yet. You'll see some marks where one of the astute viewers has chimed in here. Oh, I lost it. So you can see there where he first lets go of it. There's no blood anywhere near him. The thumb and the outer hand are absolutely. I want you to watch what's happening around the sound, around Dan, now that we have some context. Yes, that was his ring that was broken off his hand. Now that we have context, let's go look again from the time Henry Dell leaves with fresh eyes. I will turn the sound on, and I will turn myself off.
I love doing this. Thank you so much. Hello.
I said I wasn't going to break in, but I have to. Watch 1776. I'm going to play again. He points to Charlie and like gives him the pick up the mic sign. He does this. Watch it. See if that's what he's saying. It looks to me like he's saying, tell him to pick up the mic. I'll play it again. There it was.
Hi. Yeah, it's working. Hey, Charlie. Hey, hopefully we're going to have a little bit more disagreement. All right. Hi, yeah, so just wanted to, a few weeks ago. Is that good? You can just continue? All right, great. All right, a few weeks ago there was a transgender mass shooter, and ever since then, about 3 weeks later, the Trump DOJ said that we should.
Pay attention to how he picks up the mic and puts it down, and watch the timing with Dan Flood as he does it.
I think it's important to say, yes, 7%? Right, great. So, do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years?
Too many.
It's Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang?
Did you catch it? Did you catch it? Now, I think Blake Bednar's, in my opinion, has kind of shown me that Hunter Kozak might also have been a signal, or at least have done something that could be perceived as a signal. I don't want to blame anybody. I'm not blaming Terrell. I'm just saying it would make sense, if this is true, that Terrell was confident when he went around the corner that Charlie was dead. I don't want to blame the sound guy, but I'm saying if you were going to pull off something like this, you would need somebody down there to control when the mic became ungrounded. I don't want to blame Hunter Kozak, but if you were going to pull off something like this, it might be nice to have somebody signaling when the next question was coming by looking over and adjusting his glasses. Oh, I think I didn't go back far enough. So Frank Turek is looking away. Hunter Kozak is asking the question. It would be nice if you were going to pull this off for Hunter Kozak to give a signal and tell him, hey, here comes the question. Look at that. Did you see him look over and touch his glasses? Now, that could just be him looking over because he's a nervous Nelly and touching his glasses. It could be as simple as that. Frank Turek could lean up and touch his hat, and then Dan Flood could see that, and he could step forward and give his sign as Charlie picks up the microphone. Again, I don't know if that's what it was. I'm not saying these people are guilty. I'm saying, in my opinion, this looks a lot more to me now, having looked at this, and I will ask you, and I'll go through some of your questions here in a second. This looks a lot more to me like an electrocution. Am I saying this is definitively what happens and I believe 100% this is what happens? No. But I'm saying I've looked at enough evidence of this today and in the last few weeks, really. I've looked at enough evidence of this that I think it's starting to become pretty reliable. And when a neurosurgeon says that ain't a neuro injury from a neck, that you wouldn't do that. That's a deep brain injury. That's a deep in the back of the head brain injury. And then I had a nurse today say almost the exact same words again. That doesn't look like a spine injury. That looks like a deep brain injury. And we're told there's no entrance or exit wound out of the back of the head. So where's the deep brain injury? Well, there isn't one. I have been given plenty of options, and I've thought of others myself. One, I don't trust Charlie's necklace. He did not sleep with that necklace the night before. That necklace was in his wife's bathroom the night before, and he slept in his daughter's room, and his daughter slept in his bed. He came in the morning to get the necklace. They didn't kiss goodbye. I'm just quoting Erica here. So a possible place the boom could have come from was the necklace. Two, another place it could have come from is the microphone, the wireless microphone he was wearing. Either one of those could have been planted with some sort of poof, some sort of charge, not an explosion that killed him. We might know what killed him. I want to take you way back in time. Again, I'm not accusing anyone of anything. But there is a name I saw listed as the surgeon who worked on Charlie Kirk. There's a name I saw. And I want to show you something we did a long time ago when we were first getting started together as a big family. You remember when we used to look at Google Trends? That's what kind of put this show on the map, right? That's what kind of put this show on the map.
Now I want you to remember this and the name, as it's important when we get to another piece of information that was given out by B&B.
This is Lee Trotter. This is the surgeon. That was his name. And this was the searches from Israel. Now, does that mean Israel was involved? No. It just means these searches exist in Google's database. I don't know why they were there. It means they were sent around July 4th of this year and around April 18th of this year. That's all it means. But I would suggest if you were going to try to cover up something like this, you would have to have a surgeon on your side. You would have to have the doctor on your side. I don't know if this is true. I don't know if this is what happened. But I think you could get to this point on a lot less evidence than we've shown tonight. And there's a lot more evidence of this, frankly.
Okay, so that was a lot to absorb, I know. Let's take a pause and hit that subscribe, Like and share if you haven't already. And next we're going to see a few things Kim Higby had to say.
Jack Posobiec made a great point on Twitter, one that I haven't seen very many people make. Nick Fuentes actually made this point. I can't believe that I'm praising Nick here. If Charlie wasn't shot with a 30-06, why would the FBI plant a 30-06 in the woods? Just think about it, guys. If this is all a grand conspiracy that the FBI is in on, and the FBI is actively attempting to help cover up the true killers of Charlie Kirk, maybe the FBI was involved. Apparently the U.S. So far what we've been told is actually Israel's involved, Egypt is involved, France is involved, Turning Point's involved, the FBI is involved. It seems the Pentagon is now involved. I'm involved. Erica's involved. Blake Neff is involved. Andrew Colvett is involved. Mikey McCoy, Rob McCoy. Who's going to be involved next? Like all these people who actually, like a lot of them don't even like each other. These entities. All these people are involved. They're all colluding together. And the FBI knows that Charlie Kirk wasn't shot with a 30-06, so they plant a 30-06 in the woods with a spent 30-06 cartridge. That's what you're going with? Charlie Kirk wasn't shot with a 30-06. He was shot with something else. The FBI was just, in their cover-up process, they just thought everybody would buy it, that it would all make sense. It's idiotic. It makes no sense.
Cam makes a compelling observation, one that may have gone unnoticed even to him at the time. It prompts us to reflect more deeply on the subject. A critical question. Let's consider this. Has the government ever been known to conceal information or cover up events in the past? Implications. This question encourages us to think critically about government transparency and the historical context of information disclosure. By examining past actions, we can better understand current events and the potential for similar situations to arise.
And there's this whole thing now about, if this was a 30-06, it would have just blown his head off. It would have his neck wouldn't have even, been attached anymore. It would have pink mist everywhere. It's just not how this round works. I mean, in most cases, like it depends on the grain, and it depends on the specific bullet and the manufacturer and stuff like that. It depends on the conditions, it depends on the angle, it depends on a lot of different factors. But generally, this is not how this bullet works. Like, it's not a hollow point.
Let's remember this soon-to-be contradiction about hollow points in our opinion.
This is meant to expand inside of your body. It's a self-defense round that is intentionally produced to do as much damage as possible. Okay, so when this goes into you, it will expand and intentionally cause as much damage as possible because it is a self-defense round. Whereas, like a standard 30-06 round that is intended for hunting, and that's what Charlie Kirk was shot with, was a hunting rifle, they're intentionally designed to not do damage.
Well, now, isn't that interesting? And he's right, a hollow point is designed to do massive damage and not continue to the mass and exit. Very good point to consider if we want to accept CK was shot with a 30-06.
It's like just another thing to like get the Jews or to blame whoever you're personally, not happy with at the time. Oh, well, I think it was Turning Point because I don't like Turning Point. Oh, I think it was the Jews because I don't like the Jews. Okay, shut the fuck up. Okay? There are two children that are going to grow up now without a father. There's a widowed wife who has to go the rest of her life without her husband. And every wild and rabid conspiracy that you come up with is another potential reason for a juror to not find Tyler Robinson guilty beyond a reasonable doubt when it is possible that he could be. And I'm not saying that Tyler Robinson is 100% in a foolproof manner definitely the person who killed Charlie Kirk. I'm not saying there couldn't possibly be anybody else involved. I do think that Tyler Robinson is the person who killed Charlie Kirk. But I'm not saying that I'm not open to the possibility that they got the wrong guy.
If this is the case, why should Candace or anyone else not be asking questions then is what we'd ask.
But what I am saying is stop brainwashing yourself that it's impossible for it to be Tyler Robinson. Stop brainwashing everybody else that it's impossible for it to be Tyler Robinson. Because while you convince yourself that it's impossible for Tyler Robinson to have killed Charlie Kirk, Tyler Robinson is in court laughing because he knows that with every conspiracy theory, there is a higher likelihood that he walks free.
Actually, several people have said they're not against the idea of Tyler Robinson doing this. What they're against is he acted alone at minimal, and we agree Tyler was acting very relaxed as we watched the hearing, and we're not saying if he's guilty or not. But if he thinks it's not, maybe that's why he acted so relaxed. Just a thought.
And now because of the wild ramblings of one woman, it's all been undone, and it is we are left worse than we were before. We are in a state currently that is worse than we were prior to Charlie's death. In terms of division, in terms of the movement being totally split. I mean, we had our problems before Charlie got killed, especially related to geopolitics. And it was dividing us really bad, and it was really complicated, and it was tough. But it's worse now. It's way worse. I mean, the anti-Semites can't even stick together anymore. I mean, look, you got Ian Carroll and Nick Fuentes fighting. How does that happen? They are like ideologically two peas in a pod. Now, albeit Ian Carroll is a lot dumber than Nick. You know, him and his Domino's pizza. But I mean, we are just fractured.
Now, is it just us, or doesn't this sound a bit more like someone that is more worried about politics and the midterms like Tim Pool referenced to versus seeking the truth about CK?
The overwhelming majority of people are not getting paid by Israel. Actually, I don't think anybody, I don't know of anybody who's getting paid by Israel, and I'm exactly the person who would know about that. Okay? I don't know a single person who's been offered to be paid by Israel. I don't know about the Qatar side. Okay? Because I'm not familiar with the pro-Qatar people. It really, fundamentally, it doesn't matter if they're being paid by a foreign government or not. It really doesn't. If they're actually being paid by a foreign government, you still have to contend with what they're saying. You still have to prove them wrong. So just knock it off. Just knock it off. It's so annoying. It's so anti-intellectual. It's such a cop-out. Every time, you know, whether it's people on my side or people on the opposite side, they disagree with somebody. You're a paid shill. Shut up. That's not an argument. Prove them wrong. If you don't prove them wrong and you just say, you're a paid shill, okay, now you're empowering them. Now it's obvious to everyone else around you that you're copping out. And their argument just looks more right. Argue against them. The cheap, attempts to discredit people, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
Okay, so why do Candace's finances keep being brought up? And let's not lose sight of the amount of money TPSU has and continues to make. So on one hand, they say it's not relevant, yet on the other hand, they try to make it relevant. Confusing.
Here's Candace Owens saying that Erica doesn't get to be the widowed CEO of Turning Point.
Well, now you're going to have to prove that you have the ability to be a CEO and a chairman and not just a wife who we expect emotion from, and you're rightful in that capacity. You are rightful to have emotion. You are rightful to be the aggrieved widow, but you don't get to just be widowed into the position of chairman and CEO. You don't get to respond.
Let's run that back.
Well, now you're going to have to prove that you have the ability to be a CEO and a chairman and not just a wife who we expect emotion from, and you're rightful in that capacity. You are rightful to have emotion. You are rightful to be the aggrieved widow, but you don't get to just be widowed into the position of chairman and CEO. You don't get to respond to, well, in this case, investors, donors who have given money and are asking meaningful questions with, no, you don't get replies right now because this is the Charlie Kirk show, fam. Doesn't work.
Yeah, actually, she doesn't. So actually, Erica Kirk doesn't have to prove that to you. You're not a part of Turning Point USA. You're not a Turning Point shareholder. You're not on the board. You're not an employee. You're not even on the website. You're not associated with them in any way, shape, or form other than the person lighting the match that burns their crops to the ground. You are nothing. Who is Erica Kirk? Erica Kirk is the widowed bride of Charlie Kirk, the founder, CEO, and face of Turning Point USA. He left that company to her. She is the person that he chose. You have no say in it. You are nobody in this conversation. You are nobody to the future of Turning Point. Nobody. Nobody. Erica Kirk does not have to, how'd she put it?
Donors who have given money and are asking meaningful questions with, no, you don't get replies right now because this is the Charlie Kirk show, fam. Doesn't work this way, okay? Widow. But you don't get to just be widowed into the position of chairman and CEO. Actually,
again, she does. She does get to be just widowed into the position of chairman and CEO of Turning Point. She actually does. And that's actually exactly what happened. Sorry, Candace. Not your call. Not your call.
Okay. I'm glad Cam replayed this, as what we heard was not Candace saying that Ike owed her an answer, but that she more so owed the investors and shareholders answers in relations to finances, which we'd have to agree with. So let's try not to take what Candace said not only out of context, but just plain wrong.
This is the last thing we're going to play, just because I've got a cheap shot on
it. It says it's not like COVID-19. It's like Candace 19.
Yeah, it's exactly like Candace 19. You're absolutely right, because you are a fucking plague. And with that, we're going to end the show. Candace 19 is a contagious fucking plague. On the road.
Wow. Now, don't get me wrong, we have liked and enjoyed Cam's different coverages at different events and protests, but this seems a bit extreme.
He released a couple of videos on social media. A lot of them have been removed. We have some questions for him. So instead of going back to the backstory about what his videos were about, we're kind of just going to let him explain himself.
Now, before we get too far into this last segment and some new information, don't forget, if you haven't already, please subscribe, like and share, and ring that bell to stay notified. And don't forget what we said earlier during Barron's clip, to remember the information about the doctor.
It's new.
Very new. Never done this before. But okay, so just to jump into it, to stop wasting people's time, we're sorry about all of that. So just to give our audience a sense of who you are, can you just give us a brief description about yourself? How old are you?
I'm just 21 years old. I live in Sacramento, California. So I moved out here just a couple months ago. I moved out to South Carolina about a year ago and lived out there for a little bit, but I lived in California my whole life, so I decided to come back.
Oh, really? Wow. I'm from Orange County.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Where are you from? Are you from Sacramento?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Sacramento.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Also lived in Arizona before, too. I went to Arizona State, so.
What years did you work for Turning Point? You're 21?
Yeah, I worked for Turning Point from 2023 to 2024.
So how old were you when you first started working for Turning Point? Because I know Turning Point likes to hire people like right after high school, correct?
Yeah. Right. Because Charlie even wrote that book that's like, don't go to college.
I was 17 and a half when I went to training. So,
wow. Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. But you were graduated, right?
Yeah, I was graduated.
Okay, so before we get into that, so you left Arizona. What are you currently doing for work now?
Currently, I do solar work and roofing installation, so kind of a big career switch for me, but I also do public speaking on the side. So,
okay. So you said you started working for Turning Point when you were 17 and a half.
Yes.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but when you said you were first hired, right? People at Turning Point took you out.
Correct.
So were you underage at the time?
Yes. And so were many other representatives as well.
Wow. So you're saying that people from Turning Point USA took underage new hires out in Scottsdale on party buses and got them intoxicated?
Correct.
Wow, if this is true, this opens a whole new can of worms for TPSU.
Wow. That doesn't really align with their values, does it?
Not at all. It made no sense to me from the start, and I was completely taken aback from it.
And so how did you get the opportunity to work at Turning Point? And
Yeah.
like, did you apply? Did someone recruit you?
Yeah, I was recruited through Turning Point Faith. I worked under Boomer Bennett. He was the manager for Turning Point Faith in the West for them. So I worked as a church coordinator at my local church, Destiny Christian Church. That's located here in Rockland. And I worked under them for about a year. And that's when I was kind of poached by Turning Point's main branch. They had a representative come in to the church and talk to me and say, hey, there's an open position at Turning Point. Like, I'm leaving the position. They said to come get you to apply for it. So, like, go send in your application. And yeah.
Wow. Okay. And so you were recruited at a very young age. How did they take you guys to bars in Scottsdale? Because I remember in your video you said that you guys took a bus that had like stripper poles on it.
Right.
And then they took you out and got you drunk.
Also, I just wanted to mention on that point, I have been in like a public transit, like a private bus that was rented before, and it happened to have a stripper pole in it. And I was like, oh, that's weird. But like, maybe it was the only van that they had. So when you first said that at the very first part of your video, that was the first video I ever saw from you. I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, I've been there.
Right. Like a lot of party buses have stripper poles in it, but like to have like a Christian conservative company,
though, that's where I was
take underage kids that are 17.
And that's what I also
out in Scottsdale.
Yeah.
How did they get you to bars in Scottsdale if you were under 21?
Yeah, so the first bar that they took us to, which was with all the administrators, so I'm talking all the higher ups besides Charlie, obviously he was not a part of this, but speaking of like the college, the person who ran the college department, the person who ran the high school department were there, and they took us to a bar called Buffalo Chip in Arizona.
Oh, I've heard of
that's
that.
an 18 and up bar,
Okay.
which is already kind of weird as it is. You know, it's a kind of unmoralistic for Christians to go to bars as it is. So it was kind of weird. And then the second day that we went out was with the senior representatives of Turning Point, and those people got us into the bars. The bouncers did not ID anyone because they knew these people that were taking us in and just trusted them, I guess. And these people went and bought us drinks at the bar and said, hey, drinks on us, like get as many as you want, and would just keep buying rounds. It was really weird.
And they were totally aware that you were under the age of 21.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So are any of these people, and I know you can't name them, I know you have that NDA that
Yeah, Josh has an NDA that lasts until 2035.
It's insane.
2 questions. One, did they make you sign that NDA like when you left or right when you got hired? Like,
it was day one. As soon as you walked into the training room, that was one of the first things they had you do.
Okay.
Very interesting. And second question, hold on. So all those people that you're not allowed to name.
Yeah.
How do I word this? Are they in the news right now? Are any of them in the news and being talked about?
Well, I know something.
No.
Okay.
Not a lot of them.
No, okay. Yeah, I didn't figure because I didn't think someone like Brian Harple, head of security, is going to be taking out the 17-year-olds at the strip club.
Right.
But
someone that is in charge of hiring that
Tyler
is very known is Tyler Boyer.
Correct. He says correct.
He's one of them,
Tyler Boyer's also big in the news right now. So I feel like if I asked, like, are any of these people in the news currently, I feel like he wouldn't have straight up said no.
Well, I don't want to answer for him.
Well, he can't answer for him either.
I would say that a lot of the people that were involved with the situation when I was there were not publicly brought out yet, and they probably won't be, more than likely.
Okay.
Because some of these people are not bigger figures within the company, although there are some administrators that are lesser known that I would also consider to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
You have named a few that we've talked about in private, and I will confirm that here. I just can't publicly say their names, as you know.
Okay.
Right.
Are you able to say who interviewed you or who hired you for the positions?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. His name was Chris. I can't go into last names, but Chris hired me. He was the college representative hire, and everyone went through him for the college department. So, yeah.
Okay. And are you aware, or are you pretty certain that Charlie Kirk did not know that that there were people that worked for him that were taking underage kids out drinking?
Absolutely not. He had no idea about this. And I know about this because Charlie wasn't there for the first couple days of training at all. He was actually on a trip doing, I think, an event. But he was not there when this was happening. And this was actually a pretty common occurrence where he wouldn't be there during training time. He normally had a lot of events in August, so he was never really there.
Okay.
Right. Hey, Josh, would you mind just turning the volume down on your phone by 1 really quick, or 2? Will you still be able to hear us in that case?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Because I've seen some comments of people saying that it's a little echoey. Oh, cool. I can't hear it at all now. And
what were your dates of employment? Just because I know there were people online that were saying, oh, did he even work for Turning Point? How can we verify that he worked for Turning Point? Which you've sent us photos of you at Turning Point events, working with people there. So we know, and other people have reported that it's verified that you worked there. But what were the specific dates that you worked, or the months and years that you worked for Turning Point?
Yeah. So I was a contracted employee. I had a school year contract with them. So it was from August of 2023 to June of 2024.
Okay. And
wow. And you got to meet Charlie quite a few times within those years.
What division of Turning Point were you involved with? Because there's Turning Point Action, and then there's Turning Point USA. And what was your position?
I was part of Turning Point USA. I was a college representative for their Northwest Territory. So I covered the Sierra Territory. That's coverage of Northern California and Northern Nevada. So I covered every college campus in that area.
Okay, so you were traveling quite a bit?
Yes, a lot.
Did you like it?
It was a really awesome job, yeah.
And what was your day-to-day activity?
The average day, it was very chaotic, to be honest with you. Most days we're driving from Sacramento up to Chico, and then out to Tahoe from there, all in one day is a majority of the time. So it was pretty chaotic.
Okay.
Dang.
And so who were the main people that you worked with that maybe are still there right now?
Chris.
Yeah. Chris is one of those people. Tyler is one of them as well. Charlie Kirk, I worked with him several times. I had many events with him at Destiny Church too. That is documented and well known. So if anyone doesn't believe me, they can look at that. But a lot of the people that I did work with have left the company because of the same reasons that I have for leaving, surprisingly. Wow. But they are too afraid to speak out, sadly. And I've tried convincing them, but that just hasn't,
I can only imagine.
So you've spoken to these people and you're like, hey, we should speak out about this. And they're like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm afraid. Or
right. I have a text message that I can send you guys after the live to from one of them that said, I'm afraid for my life if I speak.
And are you not?
They're afraid for their life if they speak out against Turning Point.
Of course.
Correct.
I'm just verifying what he's saying, just so everyone is hearing that.
Were you not afraid? How long did you contemplate? Because you posted this video 10 days ago now? Or at least that's when I saw it. And this is, 2 months after it happened. And also, follow-up question to that, how long did it take you to realize, because I went through your Instagram and I saw your past stories that you posted about when Charlie was first assassinated, and it didn't seem like you were too skeptical up until maybe recently.
Right. At first, I would say I wasn't too skeptical. I just thought, as anyone else would, it was just a crazy left lunatic that went and shot Charlie because of what he did and his views. But then I started thinking a little deeper about it, and I'm like, you got to realize who Charlie was and what he did and the impact that he made in the United States. He led the biggest youth conservative organization in history.
Absolutely.
And he is solely the reason that Trump won the last election too. And that is well seen in the numbers. And with that being said, that kind of led me on to believe, okay, maybe there was some foreign influence in what happened to him, or maybe there was some motive from inside. And I started watching Candace Owens videos more and more because she had the same thought process as me. And the thing that I've been telling everyone that I've talked to about this is questions don't hurt anybody. And I wonder why everyone is going after Candace Owens so hard and calling her such a conspiracy theorist and a psycho just for simply asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
And that simply is what made me start digging deeper into everything and truly discovering what I did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's called the Streisand effect.
Yeah,
Right.
because she's just going, none of this adds up. None of this makes sense. Make it make sense. Answer these questions. You know, there's all these conspiracy theories going around online. Okay, so Turning Point, our own government, whoever, let's squash the theories, answer the questions. But people aren't answering the questions. They're kind of dancing around the questions, or they're saying, you're crazy for asking these questions.
Right.
And so you were like, this doesn't really add up.
Exactly. And I mean, I also looked historically too. If you look what they did to Trump back in 2016, it's kind of the same narrative, if you will, of making him out to seem crazy and making him seem like he is going to do nothing but evil and harm. But in reality, he didn't. And I mean, I have different views on him now because of foreign influence again, but I do believe truly that the same thing happens with Candace. And I see that all of Turning Point's social media stars and allies are all simultaneously posting the same types of videos going after
like literally beat for beat, word for word.
Right.
And it's just like, what?
It's like they're
It's
reading
like,
off a
I know
script.
these are real accounts.
Right. And that's just really concerning to me too, is the organized effort to try to suppress Candace Owens' questions.
Yeah.
It's in the dodging and the smoke and mirrors. It's very, very odd.
You know what was really concerning for me is can you ask how really quick how Alex Jones, I sent you this text. I'm going to show this on the camera here. Alex, oh dang it, it's going to be reversed. Okay, so I'll just explain it really quick. I already sent this to you, Josh, but I want to explain it for the audience here. So we all know who Alex Jones is, right? Typically would be on Candace's side about something like this, and actually has been. We've seen videos of him talking about how he is like, something's going on here. But as soon as this account posted a video of you 5 days ago, Alex Jones replies to it and says, this guy needs to post photos of himself with Charlie and working at TPUSA. And I'm
like Alex is a reporter himself. He could have verified this information
very easily. I went to your Instagram account and there's so many photos of you posting at TPUSA events. TPUSA posted you on their profile with events. You're like, you clearly worked there. You were friends with everyone who worked in TPUSA. You follow them, they follow you. And it's like, why, for one, did he like go just do one quick search before tweeting that? And two, why is he even skeptical about this in the first place? I think I replied something that was like, why? Because this is so like, what did I say? I don't know what I said, but I responded. I was like, not Alex Jones too. Come on. Like, we've already lost a few good ones or decent ones. We've lost people, but I didn't mean it like that. I meant like we've lost, like you know, I meant like Nick Fuentes. I never even kept up that much with Nick Fuentes. I don't know if it was a good one. I've seen a few clips. But.
So I want to dive more into your experience on that first night, and also some of the things that you said about maybe the financial situations at Turning Point. But before I ask you that, I know you said when you left Turning Point, but what was the main reason why you decided to leave?
Yeah, personally, I just felt that there was a lot of pressure from the people in the inner circle of Turning Point, if you will. And I will say that anyone that has worked for Turning Point is very aware that there was an inner circle there. And if you are not a part of that, you are not going to last, you are not going to enjoy your life there, and they're going to make you miserable. And that's exactly what they did to me. They made me as miserable as they possibly could until I eventually just gave up on the job.
And what does that inner circle mean? And like, what were they doing or conspiring that you didn't want to be a part of?
Yeah, it was just kind of corruption, if you will, of the upper levels, differences in views from Charlie and opinions and stuff, and very secretive type of things. Like they wanted to have secret meetings with each other, and like they would go off during training in secret little groups while everyone else was, you know, watching the presentations and stuff. And it was like a little secret fan club almost. Like you get to sneak off and go do your own thing for a little bit. And I never bought into it. I just didn't think of it as a good thing. I thought it was really weird and peculiar that that would be going on, and let alone no one questioned it.
So were you invited to these secret groups?
Yes.
And you were told certain things about them, but you were kind of just like not interested. So why don't you go more into what you talked about in one of your videos that was removed, where you were approached at one of those bar events by people at Turning Point, and I'll let you describe for yourself what you said about them, what country they affiliated with, and what they said to you. If you want to talk about that a little bit right now.
Yeah. So we went out to the bar. That was the night we went out to the bar with our senior representatives, and they were having us all drink. I had had a few drinks myself, I will say that. And they pulled me outside for a minute to smoke a cigarette with them and talk to them. I declined a cigarette because I'm obviously only 17 and a half. But they started talking to me a little bit, and they're like, so we just overheard you talking about Israel earlier, and we just wanted to know a little bit more. Like, how do you feel about Israel? And I said, I feel neutral. Like, I think they're okay. At the time, I hadn't done too much research into what was going on or whatnot, so I didn't care. And they said, okay, well, we're part of a pro-Israel group within Turning Point, and we kind of promote for Israel within Turning Point, if you will. And they were like, would you be interested in stuff like that? And I was like, not really, no. I'm just here for the college department. I work with colleges, because I thought it was some different group that they were with. And they said, oh, we're part of some Israeli coalition group that Turning Point hires to come here and work for them. And I was like, okay, whatever. Like, that's weird. And I kind of shrugged it off and walked away. But looking back now, I can see that was very weird and very odd of them to be talking about with me.
And did they like tell you what their motive was of why they were involved with Turning Point and why they were coming out with brand new recruits and getting them drunk and asking them about this?
They didn't lead me into anything like that personally, but they just said that they were there to promote Israel essentially, and just for the pro-Israel cause within Turning Point was their mission.
Okay, and so after this night out with these, what would you call them? Did you think that they worked for the Mossad, like the Israeli CIA?
Yeah, I mean, at the time I did, and I can't clarify if they did because I don't have their credentials. I don't know if they really did.
Well, they said they did.
But I believe that they did, yes.
Well, they didn't say, hi, I'm from Israel and I work for the Mossad. Is that what they said? Or you could just kind of
like, you could just pick it up based on the way they were talking about it. Like, we're part of an Israeli group, like, just kind of implying, if you will.
Do you know if they were Americans or if they were like born and raised in Israel?
I do know that one of them has dual citizenship with the U.S. and Israel. That's a fact. I know that. The other one, I am not 100% certain on.
And do you know if Charlie was aware that these people had ties to the Israeli government?
I don't think he did, no.
Okay.
Why is it that you think that he didn't know? I'm very pro Charlie and I 100% am with you, but at the time, was there anything that set you off like, oh, I don't think Charlie's aware about any of this stuff? And why, in that case, I'm not like, look, you're being so brave now. Kudos to you. You are doing clearly what no one else is able to do, even though they want to do it, other than Amanda and like a small handful of others who I guess distorted their voices. Not sure if I didn't actually see that. But in that case, why didn't you go forward and say, hey, Charlie? I'm sure he's hard to get a hold of.
Yeah,
but
he is very difficult to get a hold of. And he's rarely even at the Arizona facilities when he was alive. He was rarely there.
Because he's traveling the country all the time.
Right. He had his Live Free or Die tour going on at the time, too, that he was promoting for at the time. So that was just taking off, and he was doing a bunch of promotion for that. So he was never really around in general. And then us field representatives didn't get much of a chance to talk, communication-wise one-on-one with him unless we were doing events. So it was just like you never really got the time to talk to him about stuff like that. And then the people that you were able to bring it up to, they were just going to bury it. And that was the problem.
So like your supervisors or whoever your leader was, like it didn't matter if you brought it up to them, really?
Right.
Because you said you had.
Yeah, I was about to say, and what we're about to say. Yeah, in your video, you said like you brought it up to multiple people, but nothing was done about it.
Right.
Wow.
Is that why you ended up eventually leaving 100%? Like that's fully the reason?
That's more of the reason, yes. And then also they just, like I said, they made me miserable. They would make me do a bunch of exterior stuff, like I was saying, traveling to 3 different colleges in one day across 2 states. And they're expecting me to do all this stuff. And it's insane. And I think the last straw that I had with them with that was I went down to Sacramento State. They sent me up to Chico State after that, then to University of Reno. And then they called me at 8 p.m. at University of Reno and said that I had to go down to Vegas for an event the next morning.
And this is you by yourself. You're just driving around doing this on your own.
Right.
So do you think they were trying to put you in a stressful situation so you would quit so they didn't have to fire you since you weren't on their team?
Absolutely. I think so, because Vegas was out of my territory as it was already. I only covered northern Nevada at the time, and they told me that I had to be down in Vegas by 5 a.m. the next morning, and that I had no choice or else I was going to be fired. So
how is any of this legal?
I couldn't tell you.
One thing on that note is I've seen a few people in the chat here. Do you have access to the chat? Are you able to see it from?
Let me see.
You are?
I don't think so.
You don't? Okay.
Oh,
so
yeah,
there's
I do.
a couple questions here. One was from quite a while earlier. People were commenting about how if you are a minor and then you sign an NDA, and I'm not sure how accurate this is, but does it not? I'm sure you've looked into this since it's your NDA and you're like, oh crap, you know?
Yeah.
Like, is it still legal since he was a minor?
And have you talked to a lawyer?
As long as you're 16 years old, you can sign an NDA. And then again, an NDA does not matter based on age. Even if I did have parent consent under 18 for some NDAs, my parents would have signed it too. So it wouldn't matter.
Okay, so you've told us some interesting stories. You've also made a video about the financial situation going on at Turning Point. I am not familiar with filing taxes with big corporations or anything like that, but you did talk about it. Can you give us like a rundown of what you kind of discovered of the corruption going on with the financial situation with Turning Point?
Absolutely. So the IRS, it was stressed from day one of training. The IRS was going to be all over us all the time. And if we missed a single payment down to a penny, they would sue the crap out of us or come after us as hard as they can. So it was just burned into our heads from the start that we need to be very careful about money. And the thing that drew me to find out about this scheme of money going on was Turning Point USA is a 501c3 organization, which is a nonprofit, non-political, so they can't affiliate with anything. Mm-hmm. You follow the money from that charity, however, and that flows down to Turning Point Action, Turning Point Faith, and then Turning Point Endowment, which I didn't know about. And apparently Charlie didn't know about either. And Endowment is a stock market branch where they pour millions of dollars into the stock market yearly and then get return on investments from that. And then the peculiar thing about that I found was they had an employee fund for that lists 0 known employees. There's no employees on payroll.
Yeah, as you mentioned.
But there was $5 million going to somebody. And that money was tracked back to a Safeway strip mall, I think. And don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure.
Strippers and alcohol.
Yeah.
Well, there was a video that Candace, on her video, she released a tip from someone that apparently was a close family friend of Andrew Colvet's. And they said when Charlie died, Andrew was acting weird. And he said to them just in a conversation, when Charlie Kirk said no to money from Benjamin Netanyahu, Andrew said, when Charlie said no, I personally lost millions of dollars.
I think one.
Do you think that statement is accurate, and why?
I absolutely do. And I believe so because there was a lot of people like him around Charlie that felt the same exact way. And when he turned down that money, they all lost out on that. And I think the reason was because Israel was pumping a lot of money into those people to try to flip him into turning into a pro-Israel cause.
So I personally didn't know any of these names before the past 2 months. I didn't know who Andrew Colvett was. I didn't know who Tyler Boyer, all these people, Brian Harpole, who's my number one right now, my number one suspicion. Actually, I hate Rob McCoy. I mean, I don't hate him. I can't hate him. You don't know him, but not a fan. Did you already know all these names before? Did you know all these people?
Yes.
They're popular in Turning Point, right? They're the big guys.
Very.
So, even though you didn't necessarily work with them or in their department per se, you definitely knew who they were.
Yes. They were very well known within the company.
Did you have feelings on them before?
Yes. I never really felt very positively towards any of the administrators at Turning Point, besides Charlie himself, really, because
and that shows on your Instagram that you felt very positive towards Charlie. Even
absolutely,
you can see stuff that you posted from before he passed away.
Yeah,
and after. And I know you have to go soon.
You guys are good.
Okay.
I managed to get some more time, so I'm free. Don't worry about it.
Well, say thank you to your fiance for
we are so
our technical difficulties.
What's your fiance's name?
Maybe he doesn't know.
Her name's Shayna.
Okay.
Yeah, she's tagged. She's tagged. Thank you, Shayna.
Shayna,
yeah.
Thank you, Shayna, for letting Josh stay a little bit longer. This is our fault.
So I used to live in Arizona, like I said. I was part of the Arizona Young Republicans group. A lot of those people worked for Turning Point USA as well. And I honestly wanted to quit my corporate job and come work for Turning Point. I didn't. But after going to an America Fest event, I think it was in 2022, it really made me want to work for Turning Point. I was like, wow, like this company, their movement, like it's just so inspiring. And I've met Charlie before, and like I was just like, what an amazing human, and like just had so much respect for him and his company. And I just think if he knew the way how it's become, he'd be disgusted by it. And if he knew what was going on behind the scenes, like he would just be so disappointed and upset. But like people are like, oh, don't you think Charlie would know the characters of people around him? But then again, like, I mean, look at Jesus. Jesus had people that stabbed him in the back. Julius Caesar had people that stabbed him in the back. Like, do you think that Charlie had no idea that these people had any nefarious motives? And if you do agree with that, like, do you think maybe some of those people are the people currently running the Charlie Kirk show?
Yes, I do. And that is sad for me to say, but I was going to reference Julius Caesar, actually, because I felt Charlie's in the same position as Caesar. I think that somebody close to him was very involved in what happened to him. I'm not going to speak any further towards that, but people can make their own impressions. And I also believe that people need to understand Charlie Kirk was a very busy man. And he ran so many different organizations at the same time, had to run events for all those and be the face of all of them at the same exact time. Mm-hmm. And it's difficult enough to run one nonprofit as it is that is very famous, but running 3 different ones at the same time, you're all over the place. You can't expect him to be able to know everything about what's going on back home.
Right.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Based on what you said and also from the chat here, did you ever happen to meet Erica?
Yes.
Yeah. And so she wasn't even really employed by Turning Point. Oh yeah, she was employed at the time that you were working there as well, right?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Never been an employee until after Charlie died. Now she's head of the company.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So,
but she was there. Charlie met us one day for, I think it was the last day of training. He came in to visit everyone, and that's when Erica came in too, and she met everyone as well.
Right.
Okay.
And
like a lot of people. Sorry, do you want to finish?
Yeah.
Go for it.
So, since I feel like you wouldn't have an NDA on this, but I'm not sure if you want to disclose this, because I personally don't even know if I am willing to share how I feel about Erica, but are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Personally, I don't. On the record, I don't have any hard feelings towards Erica. personally, as a person, I can't say that she's a bad person. When I met her, she was very kind to me. She was very caring, I would say. She noticed that I had a very nice hairdo that day. I had just gotten a haircut. She was just very kind, if you will. But from what I've seen lately, I have changed my opinion a lot, and I'll leave it at that. Because
Okay, I'm actually I'm so surprised to hear that she was a kind person, because I have formed my own opinions on her based on the things that I've seen. Like, girl,
right.
I will say that I dislike her personality. I can say that. I can't say anything else. I dislike her personality, but it's good to hear that she's kind to you. That makes me feel a little bit better, I guess.
And I mean, I am trying to tiptoe around it. Obviously, you could tell I was trying to tiptoe around that as much as I could, but my views have very drastically changed since Charlie has been killed.
Yeah, on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and she's always seemed like a very sweet person to me.
Right.
It's just, if I was in her shoes, I would want to make sure every single theory, every single shred of evidence was heavily, investigated.
Right.
And I thought it was very interesting. I think it was yesterday, she just said to stop.
Right.
And the video was very intense. She literally was like, stop.
Right.
And it's like, I'm sorry, I don't think anyone is believing that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk alone. I think everyone in the world that has half a brain knows that that's not what actually happened. And if I were Charlie's real friends, if I was Charlie's family, wife, I would say, let's investigate every single thing that we can, because I would want to know what actually happened. And I would be concerned for my own life, for my family's life, for my friend's life.
Absolutely.
And so for people to say to stop asking questions and to believe what the mainstream media and what the government is saying is insane to me.
I absolutely agree.
And so it just, like, we're all human here. It's like you're looking at the way his friends and family are reacting, and you go, were these really Charlie's friends, or were they using him? Were they planted here for a reason? And I'm not saying we don't know. I'm saying my opinion, looking out, like, if you were to die, if one of my sisters or someone in my family or my fiance, which I don't have, but like husband in the future, whatever, I'd be like, no, we're going to look at every single thing and we're going to figure out what happened. And the way that they're reacting is just not normal to me.
Right.
And it makes them look suspicious because of the way that they're reacting.
Absolutely. And that was what I was going to get to, too, adding to what you had to say about that. It makes me very angry to see the videos of, I will say this person's name, Mikey, who was best friends with Charlie Kirk. The moment that Charlie gets shot, he didn't even react, didn't go over to Charlie. Instead, he just jumped on his phone and walked away.
Literally on the phone immediately.
Before Charlie.
I was livid when I saw that.
Did you know him?
I did. I've met him a couple of times as well.
Did you think he was this amazing Mikey McCoy, like everyone is saying? Like, is he that intelligent, that well-spoken?
You liked him?
I did. I thought he was a cool guy because Charlie always hyped him up, always said he was like his right-hand man. He was always Charlie's guy. Like, everyone looked to him like, oh, yeah, that's Charlie's guy. But like I said, I referenced Julius Caesar for a reason.
Dude, I'm sorry, but I've watched videos of him, and this was before everyone else got super insanely suspicious of Mikey McCoy. I heard it was like week 1 after the assassination where Candace was making videos. All she said about Rob McCoy was, hey, he tweeted something about me, and I don't understand why. And I'll go and I look this guy up, Charlie's pastor, and she's like, by the way, he's not even Charlie's pastor. Look him up, look up his family. And I saw Mikey McCoy and Rob McCoy, and I just did not like Mikey McCoy. I watched a video of his or something, and he was so, like, what's the opposite of well-spoken? Unwell-spoken? I don't know. Like, his vocab.
He just seems a little disingenuous to me, a little bit.
Yes.
There's that too for sure.
And then I also just didn't
everything.
like the fact that people were saying that Mikey McCoy was such a hero on that day.
Right.
When you can clearly see the video, as soon as Charlie is shot, he's immediately on the phone. He runs away. Where does he go?
Before Charlie's body hit the ground.
Same with Blake Neff. He just runs away, and it's just weird. Like if someone I was close with got shot, I wouldn't just take off and start calling people. And like I'm not accusing them of anything. I'm just saying that's not how people should react in that situation. And
I think that we need answers to what was going on.
It's like, if you're innocent, provide your phone logs. Like, who did you call? The story kept changing too. First, I called my dad. No, first I called my wife. Oh no, first I called Erica. Then I called my wife. Then I called my dad. And then Rob McCoy, his father, said, Mikey was covered in blood. No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't.
He also was apparently on the plane on the way back home from Ireland. Rob McCoy. Or there's so much contradicting information. I feel like they do it on purpose so that there's so much contradicting information that you just give up.
It's smoke and mirrors.
Did you notice that Rob McCoy started getting more involved towards the end of Charlie's life?
Yep.
Same with Mikey, I think, too, right?
And you notice that both of them, specifically Rob, too, have been coming out against Christians and using the faith against Christians for questioning what happened to Charlie.
Yeah, I think in one of his sermons, he literally said, if you're an anti-Semite, he said, like in a sermon, like, you don't belong here.
Yep.
And an anti-Semite to him is anyone that's even questioning anyone Jewish that's involved, like, in this, which is like, okay.
Anyway, we could talk about, like, Rob McCoy and, like, all these other things I could talk about this for 3 days straight, but
you asked about the Doge department too.
I really would like to hear about like if you felt safe, what really brought you to post in the first place, to come out, to be the first person out of 2 that has said anything. What drove you to that, and are you safe? Have you noticed anything?
I personally understand that I put my safety at risk by speaking out, and I'm perfectly okay with that because I believe in God, and I believe that God will protect me regardless. So I have no fear, and I want to make that very loud and clear. Second of all, I am very proud to speak out, and I prayed about it very hard after seeing a couple of Candace's videos, and I said, I understand what this can do to my career in politics. By saying stuff like this, I understand what it could do to my life and my reputation, and I gave it to God, and I feel that my heart was pushed to do the right thing, and the Lord said, let there be light when it comes to the truth, and I said, okay.
And we love that. That's how we feel too. When we first started this, I was like, if there are people involved that we wouldn't expect or would hope aren't involved, like, this is scary to be talking about. Like, I'm sure, like, we're being monitored, we're being watched, but I've told this to my family. I'm like, I've always had an interest in politics. I've always loved Charlie Kirk. I've always loved his mission. And when he died, I was beside myself. I was hyperventilating, crying. I listened to him every single day, all of his podcasts. He had like 5 he would release a day on Spotify, and I listened to all of them because I literally believed in him so much. And I was just like, no, you don't just get to kill Charlie Kirk and get away with it. Like, I'm sorry. And I had never like always wanted to start a political podcast, which has kind of turned into a Charlie Kirk podcast. We're eventually going to talk about other things, but I am so dead focused on this right now because I am not going to stop talking about this until we figure out the truth. And so, like you said, it's like, I pray to God for protection every night, for you, for Candace, for Baron, for Ian, for anyone involved.
This new guy, Harry, that's going to go on Candace's show. Have you?
Yeah. Candace's new source that she has, which released insane information. It's like, God knows the truth. God, I think, loves people that are speaking the truth and aren't afraid to speak the truth. And that's what we're all just trying to do. So we really appreciate you doing that.
But you haven't noticed anything weird going on in your life in the past week, right? Like, I don't know.
Not in particular. I did receive a few no-caller IDs, and I will say that one of these representatives that I did reference, that was a part of one of these groups, leaked my phone number out to several people who have messaged me.
Would this be someone in security that would have your phone number?
What's that?
Would this be someone in security that would have your phone number?
No, this was the representative, because I asked the person who got my number who gave it to them, and they disclosed exactly the person.
Does his name start with a T?
It starts with a J.
Are you able
to...
Do you know a J?
I have an idea. Justin Strife?
Oh my God. No fucking way, dude. No fucking way. Oh my God.
All right.
Anyway,
so I just want to say one thing about him. So apparently the day Charlie was shot, Justin Strife, I'll say his name, I'm not on an NDA.
He didn't agree, by the way.
He did not agree.
Yes.
I'm just saying he called a $1 billion donor who is now, I'm assuming since Charlie's no longer with us, is now working with Turning Point.
Yep.
So
that money declined, right? And
to my knowledge, he declined it.
Dude, this Justin Strife is the one that brought him to the bars and got him.
I don't know if Justin Strife is the one that brought him to the bars.
I'm just conversating with Brandi. Sorry, Josh, you're not in this conversation.
But that's interesting. All right.
Holy shit! Sorry, someone said blonde language.
This is a kid's show. Like Baron likes to say, this is a kid's show. No cursing here.
Sorry.
But Megyn Kelly curses on her show too.
Dude, that's crazy.
Sometimes you get heated and you're upset and you cuss sometimes.
Oh, can I have Justin Strife's phone number, by the way?
No, we're not going to do that.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, so I want to circle back to the Doge department. So Tyler Boyer made a statement saying, oh, well, we've always been audited. An audit is completely different than a Doge department. Doge, Charlie wanted to go through the entire company, figure out where all this money was coming in and where it was going, correct?
Absolutely correct.
Okay. So he decided to do this Doge department how many days before he passed away?
A week.
A week. So was it ever even implemented?
Nope. And it was buried right after his death. And then Turning Point missed their first IRS audit in history.
Yep, and we are familiar with that because what's the guy's YouTube channel? Wolf of...
I know who you're talking about. That is the right guy.
Yeah, and so can you explain a little bit more about that? Because like I said, I'm not familiar with how taxes work with big corporations, and I'm sure a lot of people that are watching this aren't familiar. And if you're not that familiar, that's fine too, but just you can explain anything that you know, like kind of regarding that.
Well, from my understanding, companies, specifically charities, 501c3s, which Turning Point was, it can't be partisan and it can't be for profit.
Right.
And so that means everything that they bought, every flyer, every desk, every event that they put on, everything had to be written out on paper to the exact T of what it costed, and then base that on donations and return that to the IRS and show them how much money you have left at the end of the year, so that they know that you're not just pooling this money on the side. That's from my understanding of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And Turning Point failed to turn over this year and given that information of where that money was going.
Okay. And from my understanding, some of this money was getting, I'm going to use the word laundered, allegedly, to employees that didn't even exist.
Correct.
To a department that didn't exist because they were wanting to IPA, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, insane. I feel like we should talk more about the stuff that you were actually involved with firsthand, because we do have a few more questions. I thought of one and I forgot it. Do you have?
Well, we have some questions for you regarding Charlie Kirk's case, how the investigation is going. But before we get into that, is there anything else you want to say about your experience with the Israeli people that we're speaking to? This was a few years ago, obviously. So like, what do you think their main motive was? Was just to make sure Turning Point was always on the pro-Israeli cause?
Correct. I think that was their goal entirely, was just to keep Turning Point going in the direction of keeping it pro-Israel.
Okay. And so what are your thoughts on how maybe France is involved in this?
I believe that France could be involved as well because of what happened with Candace. I definitely believe so.
And do you think it was just like a distraction? Because Candace was doing episodes revealing that Brigitte Macron was allegedly born a man. Do you think that they were trying to prevent her from speaking more about that by allegedly assassinating Charlie Kirk to divert attention? Or do you think there was another motive?
It could be that, and I think that would solely be the motive, personally. I don't see otherwise why France would be involved.
Well, I heard that Charlie was trying to convince Trump to put like a 300 something, I don't know, dollar tariff on like French.
Yeah, there was that too. That would also add to the motive. But personally, for me, I don't believe France would be too involved in this based on what I've seen.
So you think maybe they were involved? Well, I'm sure you're aware of the Egyptian airplanes.
Yes.
And how France and Israel co-owned this hangar in Wilmington, Delaware, which is where the Egyptian airplanes were going to. And then in Wilmington, Delaware, there is a building on 920 North King Street, also known as 1 Rodney Square, which houses the FBI, the Secret Service, and the DEA. And people traveling from this hangar in Wilmington, Delaware, which is it's owned by Satis, they would bring these foreign dignitaries from that hangar to 1 Rodney Square. But that means that our government had to be aware of who was on these Egyptian airplanes, would have to physically be escorting them from that hangar to 1 Rodney Square.
Right.
And this has been going on for a while, which means allegedly, if this is true, Israel and France has been in on this for a while.
Correct. And I do believe, yes, that France was partially involved. So I do take a step back on saying no entirely. But I think that Israel had the most punch in that, if you will.
Okay.
Baron's back. Okay, so Josh, we are hitting up on an hour here. You did ask to go live for 30 minutes with us. I want to ask you, how can people support you? Where can we find you? What are you doing right now? What are you planning on doing?
But after this, I have a few more questions for you, just so you know.
Okay. Currently, I'm doing small public speaking out in Sacramento. My Instagram is a good place to support me. I do have a GoFundMe as well to support my speaking. I can give you guys the link for that if you want to.
We will link it to this video.
Absolutely. Yeah. And what are you public speaking about? Politics.
Just anything in politics and Charlie Kirk as well. I do speak a lot more about what happened publicly, since a lot of people can't get me on NDAs in public.
Right.
Someone just commented you should write a book. You should.
I was literally going to say that. Who commented that? Yeah, Robert. I was going to say that, and then I'm so glad you commented that, Robert, because I was going to say you should write a book. Can't release it till 2035 because that's when your NDA from TPUSA expires. But send it to people.
Smart.
Send it to people.
That's a good idea.
You know what I'm saying. Now I
actually might take you guys up on that.
I don't even want to think about that because that's morbid. But you need to send it to people.
Yeah.
Just in case.
I will. Just to be safe.
Just to be safe. Send it to me because I want to read it.
So yeah, we'll link all of Josh's social media accounts, his GoFundMe. So before we let you go, what do you really think happened to Charlie Kirk? How do you think the investigation is going, and like, how do you think it's gonna like end?
If you have a like set in stone opinion,
or just like thoughts, what do you think?
From the start of it, I think the reason Charlie got killed was because of how influential he was and how powerful he was getting. I think personally, Charlie was going to be the president of the United States one day with the power that he had and the voice that he had. And I've said it many times before on my social media and in public, but Charlie was literally the most influential man that Gen Z has ever seen. And
millennials too. He's the same age as
Absolutely.
me. I'm 31.
Yeah.
He was 31. He was born in October. I'm born in March, but we were both like the same grade. But yeah, like my generation, Gen Z, like even older
just
people are
understood.
mesmerized by him.
Right. And he just had this aura around him, if you will, that just captivated people. And he just understood how to speak to people and how to get on people's level and just get to a level of understanding to know that, hey, it's okay to have conversation. And he's just someone who could go into the most hostile environments and turn it into a paradise, if you will.
Just an open discussion.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that truly right there, and I think because of his influence, is what got him killed. Now, following along with that to the investigation process, I think it's been terrible. I think it's disgraceful. And I got many questions. Why did they cover up where he got shot after a day or two? Why?
Yeah, he got shot on Wednesday. They paved over it on Sunday, which we live in Utah. Mormons don't work on Sunday.
There's nothing open on freaking Sunday.
But they made sure it was covered on that Sunday.
Also, LDS,
which is insane.
Insane Mormons.
Sorry, what'd you say?
No, yeah, I just said that's insane. And then just the idea that there's so much lack of interest from the FBI in these leads that Candace has provided that are very substantial and evidential.
Oh, the most substantial. Like, could there possibly be more substantial evidence?
And people that are like, oh, Candace is crazy. It's like, you are literally just, you're being bought and paid for right now because.
But there's still like people in my family who aren't being bought and paid for and know that, and they still don't believe it. And I'm just like, how?
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely
crazy. It's insane. And your family too, right?
Right.
A couple.
Oh, people in your family also don't want to believe that maybe our government was involved.
Oh, I was talking to you.
Yeah.
Maybe Josh too.
Oh,
my family doesn't either.
Yeah, and I understand it's very hard for people, I think, to wrap their heads around that. People that they believed in for so long. Me as well. So when I moved to Utah, I wasn't registered to vote in Utah. And so I literally took a flight to Arizona to go vote for Donald Trump because I really believed he was going to drain the swamp and be the most transparent president and administration. Yet, we're still talking about the Epstein files.
Exactly.
Right? Clearly, Charlie Kirk's assassination, you're not sorry, but Kash Patel, you're not being honest about this. It's so apparently obvious. And that's my opinion. I'm very, very, very disappointed in this administration. And I'm not saying that they knew, but if they knew about Charlie beforehand, literally, F you. Because Charlie dedicated his entire life to getting you guys elected. And if that is the case and you guys let him get killed, there's just no words. There's just no words. And so what is your opinion on how you think this is going to turn out? Because I just don't know.
I think if people listen to what Candace said and go max, I think everyone needs to do it. I think we all need to start asking the same questions Candace is asking. Put the pressure on. Don't stop. We can't stop. Because if we stop or we relent, it's going to go away. It's going to get buried. There's going to be something else that comes out that is just going to be bigger, and this is just going to get blown into dust. But if we keep pressuring like Candace has been and keep consistency with it, they're going to break, and they have been breaking. And if we keep doing it, we're going to get to the answers we want.
Yeah, you're so right. I think that people are going to get bored of the story and they're going to move on to the next thing. The next thing I think they're going to be like, oh, aliens are coming. Isn't Three-Eye Atlas is supposed to be an alien spaceship that's coming to America or to the world, sorry. And this is going to distract everyone. No, I'm sorry. That'd be crazy. But we're not going to stop talking about Charlie Kirk's assassination until we have answers. And we don't have any answers right now. And if, like you just said, if people like us, people like you, other people keep talking about this, it's not going to go away. And we keep discovering new things every single day.
Yeah.
And all of the evidence is going to be so prominent that you can't pay all these influencers like Tim Pool, David Harris, some of their captions and the way that they word videos. I'm like, that is the most misleading thing you could have ever posted. Like, that is not what Candace said. You're literally taking things out of context. You're fabricating things. You're misleading people that only watch Fox News. Like some people that I know, like just, they work, they go home, they watch Fox News and like that's their news source. And I'm like, you need to watch other things besides media groups that are literally run by countries like Israel that are spinning a narrative.
That's literally most of them.
Yep.
And like, I think they thought they could get away with this because JFK was kind of swept under the rug because there was no internet that was as prominent. Like there was no people videotaping, being podcasters like us. There's no like tip lines of people sending information. It's like, sorry, you publicly executed one of our favorite people to ever hit the earth. And you think we're going to let you get away with that?
Absolutely not.
No. Sorry, but no.
Josh, is there anything else that you would like to bring up or anything else that we haven't really touched upon?
What did you think?
I think we covered everything that we talked about, to be honest.
No, I think we did, like on the phone call. I mean, I think and a little bit more.
I have one more question. So are there any conspiracy theorists that you really agree with what they're saying online besides Candace Owens? Do you agree with what Candace Owens is saying for like
110%? Everything that she has said has been on the right track. And anyone else on that track, I would say Matt Murphy. He's on Instagram. He's just more of a meme guy, but he's on the right track.
I know who that is. Yeah.
Yeah. Me and him follow each other. So.
And I'm sure you're. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I noticed Ian Carroll follows you too. He's mentioned you before. Ian Carroll does amazing work. Baron Coleman does amazing work. I am Coach Colin. That's his name on YouTube. He does amazing work. Valhalla.
Yep.
All these people are trying to spread awareness to what's really going on. And like we're not bought and paid for. We're not getting sent money.
Who would be paying us anyway? Charlie Kirk from heaven. Like
exactly.
Whenever everyone's like Candace Owens is an like, yeah, she's just like she's a fed. From who? Who's paying her?
Someone thought me and her were like, and like for who? We're literally talking against you guys, but okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Charlie from heaven is sending us money so that we can expose this all. That's why I'm like, people, come on, common sense, just try it, please.
But yeah, would you agree that other like people should stop watching the mainstream media as much and branch out to other news sources because the media is literally bought and paid for by big corporations that are only allowing them to say certain things. Like look at Tucker Carlson, for example. He got fired for speaking out about things. Now he has his own network. He went on Theo Vaughn's podcast yesterday and literally said the Egyptian airplanes tracking Charlie and Erica, that's 100% factually proven to be true. The fact that there were 12 Israeli cell phones on UVU campus that day, that is factually proven to be true. We're trying to figure out that maybe there was French cell phones on campus that day. A lot of the people in the crowd, UVU students said, I didn't recognize any of them. There was a bunch of people in maroon shirts on campus that day. Candace talks about how the military uses colors to identify people.
Yep.
I don't think that they knew that this investigation was going to get to this point where people like us were going to figure this shit out.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
But we did. And now they're trying to gaslight us.
Exactly. And you were exactly right with that. You are completely right because that's exactly what they're doing. They didn't expect us to get this far. They didn't think we would be this smart, and we've outsmarted them. And they're on their heels.
Yeah, they are. And you were talking about how you felt scared, like to even like, or I don't know if you said directly you felt scared, but you knew the
implications.
Risks.
Implication.
Yeah, the implications. Wow, people are sending us like super chats. Also, I want to see if any questions are for Josh before you head out. Regardless of how. Okay, so we will read these afterwards, but I don't want to force you to stick around for them.
Just while we're looking through these, is there anything else you want to like clarify or say before we let you go?
Not really. I think I've covered everything I've got.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm just hoping, I was going to say, I just hope that the people who are getting found out are more afraid than the people who are risking things to come forward with the truth.
Oh, I have one question for you. Someone just brought up Erica. I don't know Erica personally. I don't want to insinuate that she's involved in anything. I don't even have an opinion really about it yet. I think the way that she's acting is a little odd, but at the same time, I don't know.
Right.
I'm sure you've seen her interviews from yesterday and like today. Do you have a change of opinion about Erica, or how do you feel about her?
I still feel very disheartened by her, to be honest. I don't trust her, and I don't think that she's telling the complete truth. And a lot of that speaks from her reaction to Tyler Robinson being her husband's killer and forgiving him, and then the way she lashes out towards those who are questioning what happened to Charlie.
Yeah. And there's also people saying that her family is heavily involved
with Israel.
Yes, with Israel.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so do you think, it's hard for me to believe that Charlie would be fooled by that. But I mean, she also was in music videos and was on a reality TV show and was Miss Arizona. And I'm not saying that I believe this. I'm just saying there are theories, floating around that she was placed in Charlie's life for a reason, and maybe for this.
I wouldn't necessarily say that I know for a fact that that is true, but there is a lot of implications that would lead to that.
Oh, and I have, okay. And yes, there are a lot of implications that have leaked that and assume that. And I wanted to ask you about Brian Harple, which, Candace's source, Harry Myers, which she talks about on her episode yesterday or the day before, I think. Well, she's talked about him the last 3 episodes, how he saw Brian Harple at that secret meeting at a military base in Arizona 2 days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Do you think that he could have been involved in this and allowed it to happen?
I think that there is some possibility there. I absolutely do.
And what about Dan Flood?
I am not certain about Dan. I
noticed you never were either. You always were very pro Dan in the beginning because you knew him or had met him.
No, I've never met Dan Flood. I've never been pro any of his security guards. I don't want to make assumptions about people or go on camera and be like, oh, I think this, when in my thoughts, sure, I can I don't know. But I thought his hand signal was very weird.
Right.
As soon, right before Charlie got shot, he went like this. And it's was that oh, make a sound go off. So it makes it look like he got shot. I don't know. I wish the turning point would come out. I wish Dan Flood would come out and go, oh, I did this because Baron jokes around hey, I want a lemonade. I want what this is the hand signal. What does that mean? People don't just do this for no reason.
Right.
Absolutely not.
Sorry, guys, I literally have to pee so bad. We have to end this live soon. I'm not joking. Things that are related to you. So you are public speaking right now, and you mostly in California, you said, but you would probably be willing to fly to other states if they accommodate your travel. That is good to know.
Yes.
Guys, he's looking for a job. He's looking for a public speaking job and wants to get into that. So please keep
I think you're going to do so well in life. I think you are such a hero for coming out and speaking about this because so many people are afraid to. And so for you to come out and to talk about this publicly just speaks volumes, your character, and to just who you are as a person and how you just, maybe you're scared, but you are no, I need to talk about this because something is not right here.
Completely agree with that. I love that. And I'm so sad that more people haven't come forward, but at least.
But maybe more people will. Maybe you've encouraged more people to come out because if there is a group of us, there's enough of us talking about this. Sorry, they can't kill all of us.
Right.
They just can't. So, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for coming. Thank you for hanging out.
Thank you guys for having me. This was awesome.
Thank you for dealing with us.
Yeah, and sorry for all the technical difficulties at the beginning.
Not
it's okay.
We had never gone live before. This is you're the second person we've ever interviewed ever. So thank you.
First ever live.
You guys did great.
But we just text us after this. We'll link all of your links to our video. But before we let you go, is there anything else you'd like to say?
Not much, but thank you guys for watching and thanks for listening. And go Max.
Go Max! Go Max, everyone! Go Max for Charlie!
Okay, I'm gonna kick you out really quick, and we're gonna talk about how awesome you are behind your back. How awesome you are behind your back.
All right.
All right, bye, Josh. We'll text you later.
Josh. Okay.
Wow, what an amazing person.
Dude, if I go pee really quick, do you want to, can you like...
Yeah, I can entertain people.
Ooh, tell them what my coworker told me.
What'd your coworker tell you?
About the surgeon.
About the surgeon?
The surgeon who works at Timpanogos Hospital, who wasn't allowed to go do their surgery that day because then they would be trapped.
Oh, okay. I think I kind of remember. She told me via text message, but Billie works... I'm not going to say where she works, but she works with someone who worked or knows someone that worked at Timpanogos Hospital, which was the hospital that Charlie apparently went to. And they were saying that I want to wait for her honestly to get back. I think they were saying that they couldn't work there that day or couldn't say anything. Sorry, I could not remember what you said. So go ahead.
I also privated that original video that we posted because I was like, that's so embarrassing. So I have to private that. If people want, I guess I can put it back, but it's just like, what's the point? It's just us struggling live.
Oh, our first live you put on private?
The one that was 20 minutes of us like freaking out and just doing nothing. So, okay, the thing with my coworker, my colleague, I knew that she lived down south, but I try to not bring politics into work at all. I know I don't ever try to like discuss anything with people. But this was yesterday. Yesterday, I asked her, yeah, so you live down south, like, where do you live? She's like, oh, Orem. It's like literally Orem. And I'm like, cool. And I'm like, so do you live close to UVU? And she's like, actually, yeah, I do. I live pretty close to UVU, like mile or something. I'm like, cool. So did you go to the Charlie Kirk event? I just like keep asking. And she's like, yeah, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, it's just like I've been researching this a lot and I found it all really weird. And she's like, well, actually, funny enough, I've been watching some of the Candace Owens episode. And I'm like, oh, she's cool. She's cool. We can talk. And and I'm like, dude, me too. Let's talk about it. And she tells me, she's like, actually, I live next door to a surgeon who works, and it's not Charlie Kirk's surgeon. It's a different guy who works at Timpanogos Hospital. She lives next door to him. And he had told her, or I think he had told her, the surgeon was a man. Yeah, so I had a surgery scheduled for September 10th. What happened September 10th? Charlie was assassinated, right? I had a surgery scheduled that day, something unrelated. They told me, hey, if you come in and do the surgery, you're going to be trapped in this building for 9 hours afterwards. So don't come in today.
Oh, they pre-told her, right? Your coworker?
My coworker's a girl. She lives next door to the man surgeon.
Oh, and they told her if you come in, you're going to be trapped there?
They told the surgeon, the man.
Okay. So your coworker lives next door to a surgeon, and Charlie Kirk's surgeon told that surgeon, if you come in today, you're going to be trapped there for...
Not Charlie Kirk's surgeon. He doesn't own the hospital, but I'm assuming the hospital staff or the feds or someone called him, whoever the fuck they is. He received a call that said, if you come into the hospital today to do this surgery, you're not leaving for a long time.
So it was already, like you're saying, it was clearly premeditated.
It was
like they knew prior to Charlie getting shot.
I'm not sure. That's a great question. I don't have clarification on that. This is just a story that I was told yesterday, and I was like, whoa, that's crazy.
But I'm just saying, if you think about it, if they told your coworker's neighbor, if you come in today, you're going to be here for hours. But that had to have been before Charlie was shot, right?
Because Charlie was shot at
12:23 p.m.
It just depends on what time his surgery was scheduled for. If he had a surgery scheduled for 2 p.m. that day, Charlie would have already been shot. They could have called him at 1 p.m. and been like, hey, don't come in or you're going to be trapped here. But my question is, why would he have been trapped there?
Yeah.
Like, why? Okay, yeah, there's like a very important person being worked on at this hospital. Why does that mean this other surgeon can't come in and work on his patient?
Yeah, it's like because maybe they didn't want anyone in the hospital to see anything. Like maybe they had to go through and question them.
Exactly. Yes, that's why it's so fucking weird. Like, I'm sorry, and especially if you're on to like if the surgery was scheduled for 8 or 9 a.m. that day, and they called him at 7 a.m. and said don't come in. That is wild.
You should try to find out what time they called that other surgeon to be like, don't come in.
Okay, so that is what we wanted you to remember from Barron's clip, as this is very strange indeed and definitely needs to be researched deeper.
We should just try to, well, we don't, it's like second hand source, but I could see if we could like,
you should just try
my coworker to ask him if we can contact him directly and maybe even get a video with him, but I highly doubt it because I feel like people unprofessional.
We don't even need a video. We could just try to find out what time did they tell that surgeon, if you come in today, you're going to be here for hours.
Right.
Because that would be insane if it was before Charlie Kirk got shot.
Yeah. That would be insane. And I feel like they wouldn't.
We'll try to find that information out.
The Feds
also, in the
so
comments,
bad.
we live in Utah. If there is anyone you can think of that we should try to interview, places we should go, we've already tried to contact
so many people,
Phil Lyman, Jeff Long, the police chief at UVU. Oh, we tried
Hunter Kozak.
We reached out to Hunter.
He said, I don't do interviews with people who are conspiracy driven and not very reputable sources.
Like, okay.
Well, you're not a very reputable man, for one. So
we've also tried to contact one of the EMTs that was at UVU that got denied by Charlie's security team. I've reached out to him on LinkedIn, found his email. So we're trying. Josh was so nice to like take our interview, especially because we're very new to YouTube. We just started this YouTube account a month ago, but we're very, very grateful to Baron Coleman for always like shouting us out, because I think he can tell that we're very passionate about this topic. We're very motivated.
I love Baron.
Yeah,
like,
same. He's
in
the
a
best.
platonic, like,
dad-like way.
Yeah. I wish like he was actually in my family. Like, that's so weird. I'm not saying I wish he was my dad because I love my dad, but I'm saying I wish Baron was my uncle.
He'd be a cool uncle.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude. He's very cool. I'm sure all of you guys know who he is, but if you guys don't know who Baron Coleman is, he is so smart, so funny, so entertaining.
Literally the funniest
watch.
person. He doesn't even have to talk about politics. I would still watch him.
He's just awesome. Also, I'm sure you guys all know who Candace Owens is. You should be watching her podcast every single day. She drops new facts, new sources that she has. And I'm sorry, but this case is just unraveling because of the things that she's discovering. And Tucker Carlson went on Theo Vaughn's podcast yesterday and literally said that the Egyptian airplanes, like I said, are proven to be true. The 12 Israeli cell phones on campus are proven to be true. And he doesn't think that Tyler Robinson did it. And I think more and more and more people are going to come out and start speaking out about this because there's just so many people talking about it. And all of the things that, sorry, but our FBI are saying are just, it's bullshit. And we're not stupid. Like if you only watch Fox News, if you only watch a few influencers on X or on Instagram or TikTok or wherever you get your news source, you are missing out on so much more information. Like I listen to all sides. I listen to the liberals. I listen to the conservatives that in my opinion, are bought and paid for by Israel. I listen to people that we
like Fox News.
Yeah. Or people that are influencers.
Like Nick Fuentes.
I mean, I'm really disappointed in Nick Fuentes, to be honest. I used to really like him, and now all of a sudden he just flipped a switch, and I'm like, Nick, what happened? And Ian Carroll called him out too, and he got very upset about that. But it's like, you don't get to go from, Nick Fuentes is very, very controversial. he used to say like nasty things towards Jewish people, which I did not agree with. But I liked a lot of his stances and how blunt he was about certain topics, which I respected that. Now he flipped a switch and I'm like, who sent you $7,000? Or that was a joke because like obviously Benjamin Netanyahu publicly said he was paying American influencers $7,000 per post to talk good about Israel. Why is a foreign government paying American influencers to talk good about Israel? That's weird. We don't pay Italian influencers to talk good about America and Italy. Like,
because Brandi's Italian.
Yeah. It just like what? It just doesn't make sense. It's weird. And so I would caution you, if you were following certain influencers, certain news stations, to pause and go, maybe read the comments. If you look at, and I love Megyn Kelly, but if you look at some of her posts where she's, interviewing Kash Patel about, when he's like, when I got off the plane, I didn't have an FBI jacket. Like, that was not true. Like, who gives a shit? No one cares. All of the comments are like, what about Candace's death threat? What about Charlie Kirk? What about this? What about this? If you were ever looking at a post, read the comments. A majority of the people agree with us. And I'm sure people in the comments, you guys agree with us too. Read the comments on certain posts. It will tell you everything about how the world is actually feeling about a certain topic, because no one is believing this bullshit. No one.
Yeah.
And if you don't know and you're confused, just do more research, because everything being talked about on the mainstream media about Charlie Kirk is not true.
I want to look at I figured out how to get so the reason that I pinned this super chat from earlier, I don't know if you guys can see it pinned, but I pinned it for myself, but I'm assuming they can see it too. I just wanted to pin that for myself so I could remember what he was referring to, because I know Baron sometimes will get super chats and then he goes through them later.
Is this the top of them?
Well, it shows the time that they sent them here. And yeah, that's the first one we got here. But I wanted to pin this one for myself so I could be like, what? Because what if we like read that later and we were like, what info? But I wanted to like pin that.
That was about person said, surgeon. Please send that to more.
Yeah, that one was about the surgeon. Thank you, L2 Design. Idea. I think you also sent another super chat. So we'll come right back to that. Thank you for the super chat. Super chat. We have super chat. Super chat.
This is so interesting.
Okay, now I feel like I'm just like copying my Uncle Baron.
Oh, Baron.
I don't think he's still here anymore.
Oh, well, if he is, maybe he'll watch it. But maybe we shouldn't say where we want to go for New Year's in case we get tracked.
I feel like that's true, yeah. I want to tell people what we want to do next weekend, though.
What's next weekend?
Brandi. Like, no.
Oh, no, don't say that.
No?
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay. Why?
Lots of reasons why. We're going to have another video for you guys that we're probably going to release next week at some point. I'm not saying what we're doing, but no, we absolutely are not.
Trying to be crazy.
We're not saying that. No.
That's fine. I already did on X though. But not directly. Regardless of how or who, this is now a power grab for the youth of America that Israel was losing quickly. Think about how much influence TPUSA will have over the youth of USA, which gives them 50 years. Wait.
I think they're trying to say, like, if Turning Point succeeds with the pro-Israel agenda, if they can brainwash millennials, Gen Z, the other generations, beneath that they'll have influence over the youth of America.
Yeah, but I can't imagine, like, me knowing everything that I know about TPUSA, I can't imagine people letting them have influence at all.
And this is really sad because, like, and people that I know are like, well, Candace is trying to destroy Turning Point. No, she's not. Okay, I want you to think about this. If I'm going to use me, for example, if I started a company, right, and it grew to as big as Turning Point USA is, and it had this much influence and this much power, and I'm a genuine person, and I have a genuine goal, a genuine motive, genuinely believe in God. I want the good for America, the good for American citizens. And then the people that are working with me stab me in the back and have me murdered. Allegedly. I'm not saying this is what happened. I'm saying, what if? Do you think that me in heaven, would want you to continue supporting this company that was in on my assassination and is literally going against everything that I stood for? Charlie Kirk denied $150 million from Benjamin Netanyahu. He denied money from a bunch of supporters and donors that he did not align with. Then he gets murdered, and all of a sudden, that same company is welcoming the money from the donors that Charlie said no to. I don't care about the company anymore because the company isn't the same company anymore. Yeah. The company is a completely different company. The goals, the morals, the values, they're changed, they're done, they're gone. Mm-hmm. If I was in heaven, I would look at Candace Owens and say, keep doing what you're doing, because the people that I thought I could trust stabbed me in the back.
Well, I mean,
and that's no longer my company anymore.
She has text proof of him saying that basically while he's still alive.
He literally told her
you are going to be the only person that.
He literally said, and you can look this up, in text messages between Candace and Charlie, he said, I think Turning Point's going to be the death of me. And he said, I want you to be my David. And that's exactly what she's doing. Candace Owens is doing nothing but being a good friend to Charlie. And I'm sorry, if I were Candace, I would be doing the exact same thing. So we support her 1,000%. And you all should too. You guys should go watch every single video she posts. You should research shit on your own. But do not say that Candace is being crazy. She's being a bad person. Oh, she's making money. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
And if you do, Brandi's going to show up right in your nightmares.
It pisses me off because you want to know what? Candace didn't make t-shirts and mugs and is selling shit to make Candace has always had a podcast. Always. She is doing what she does, what she's always done. She's going live and she's doing her show. She has dedicated every single episode since Charlie died to Charlie. So people saying that she's trying to make money off of Charlie, that's fucking bullshit. Sorry, I didn't mean to cuss. I'm just annoyed by this. No, I'm sorry. After Charlie died, Turning Point made $90 million within the first 2 weeks of his death. They were selling t-shirts and merch at his memorial. I'm sorry. I think Barry and Coleman that said this. I have never been to a funeral where they're selling hats and t-shirts. It's disrespectful. So don't say that Candace Owens is making money off of Charlie Kirk. I'm sorry. No. Turning Point is making money off of Charlie Kirk's death, not Candace.
Mm-mm. Yeah, it's so funny. Also, if you guys ever see me laugh during a very serious topic like this, it's not because I find it funny. That
because I'm getting so heated.
No, that's really not even why either. I just have a very imaginative mind. So when you start talking about like people selling hats at funeral, I'm sorry, but I'm imagining my
it's just so ridiculous
on a hat, like me sitting at his funeral with a hat of like his face.
And it's like, okay, I get it. It's like, okay, obviously you want people to wear freedom t-shirts to support Charlie Kirk. That's great and all. That's fine. Whatever. Do whatever you want to do. But don't go and then attack Candace for trying to profit off of Charlie Kirk's murder when you were literally doing that at his memorial. Okay? I still have Turning Point emails because I used to donate to Turning Point every single month. It was $30 a month. I did it for years. I stopped donating, but I still get their emails multiple times a day. Mm-hmm. And at the end of their emails, they go, we need you to donate. They send multiple emails a day asking for money. And they just had an event at Mar-a-Lago, and I believe they made, I don't know, I think it was like 40 million or something in one night. It was like $10,000 a plate, and like I don't know, just ridiculous. And they had Charlie's microphone in a glass case. Like it just like they're just trying to profit off of everything.
Yeah.
And it's really sickening, to be honest.
Okay.
Welcome to the Inner Circle. This isn't just a membership, it's a mission. You're supporting forensic truth, mythic blends, and ceremonial broadcasts that honor every moment. Members unlock exclusive enhancements, behind-the-scenes alerts, and direct access to the pulse of Time Scape news and leading sponsor, Gold Rush Fever Specialty Coffee. Join us and help shape the signal. We thank you, and as always, stay safe. That's the latest from Time Scape News. We're live, we're watching, we thank you. Subscribe, like, share, and ring the bell so you don't miss what breaks next. Stay with us, we appreciate you, and as always, be safe.